Afternoon students, welcome back. This is a summary of magnetostatics. We know that the source is moving charge or current element. Coming to the Biot-Savart's law, this is the first law in magnetostatics. Okay, the differential magnetic field, observe that here it is a scalar quantity. The differential magnetic field is equal to I into dl sine alpha upon 4 pi r square amperes per meter. If you want to write in the vector form, you can able to write in the form of unit vector, or you can able to write only in the form of the position vector. Is it clear? Okay, these are the three formulas we are going to use for Biot-Savart's law. Now this formula is further extended for the line current distribution, surface current distribution and volume current distribution. Okay, just if you observe that this is a differential magnetic field intensity, if you send this differentiation to that side, it becomes the integration, then it becomes the line current distribution. Okay, in the place of this, if you replace the surface current density, then it becomes the surface current distribution. If you replace volume current density, then it becomes volume current distribution. Then coming back to the very important formula, remember students, finite straight filamentary conductor or finite straight long conductor, both are same. Is it clear? Okay, very important note here is, if I make a star notations to any topic, then it is very important for your external point of view, especially the problems. Is it clear? Now we know that the finite straight long conductor magnetic field intensity is equal to I upon 4 pi rho cos alpha 2 minus cos alpha 1 unit vector along phi direction ampere per meter. Very important one. Rho is the perpendicular distance from the line current to the field point. Then unit vector along phi direction is equal to unit vector along the long conductor cross unit vector along the rho direction, where remember that rho is the perpendicular distance. Once again I am saying that rho is the perpendicular distance. Is it clear? This rho is, if you want to determine the rho, okay, then definitely you have to keep in mind one point, that first of all observe where is the conductor. That means the conductor is present on x-axis or y-axis or z-axis. That axis in the given point should be 0. Remember that point. Is it clear? Now coming back to the infinite straight long conductor, then H vector is equal to I upon 2 pi rho unit vector along phi direction ampere per meter. Now coming to the circular loop or circular coil, remember we have considered this circular coil on z is equal to 0 plane. That's why the direction is along z direction. Then the magnetic field intensity is equal to I rho square upon 2 times rho square plus h square power 3 upon 2 ampere per meter. Is it clear? Where rho is the radius of the circular loop and h is the point on the z is equal to 0 plane, or you can say that distance from the ring. Okay, so here I have considered the ring is on the z is equal to 0 plane. Okay, where h is the distance from the ring. Now coming to the magnetic field intensity due to solenoid, both in terms of finite and infinite. For finite, the magnetic field intensity is equal to Ni upon 2L cos theta 2 minus cos theta 1 along z direction ampere per meter, where L is the length of the solenoid. If the length of the solenoid is very much greater than the turns on the solenoid, then it becomes the magnetic field intensity is equal to Ni upon L along z direction ampere per meter. Now coming back to the Ampere's circuit law, it is very important. Okay, Ampere's circuit law states that the closed line integral of magnetic field intensity is equal to the current enclosed. Is it clear? This is the mathematical notation. Is it clear? Now we know that I enclosed is equal to the surface integral of j bar dot ds bar, okay, amperes. Now if you equate these two, then it becomes the first Maxwell's equations in magnetostatics in integral form. Is it clear? Now by applying Stokes theorem, then it will convert the line integral to open surface integral. By equating these two, we have a point form of first Maxwell's equation in magnetostatics. Okay, remember once again, there is a star notations, therefore these type of formulas are very important in the problems. Now coming to the applications, we know that infinite line current, as we have seen in the Biot-Savart's law, then it is very important for problems. Infinite sheet of current, magnetic field intensity is equal to half k vector cross unit vector normal to the plane ampere per meter, where k vector is the surface current density. Is it clear? Then infinite long coaxial transmission line. Okay, we have 4 regions: region 1, region 2, region 3 and region 4. Okay, for 4 different regions we have 4 different magnetic field intensity. The units of magnetic field intensity is ampere per meter, where rho is nothing but the radius of your Amperian path. Observe how many applications: 1, 2, 3. Okay, we have further 3 more applications. Okay, toroid, the magnetic field intensity is equal to Ni upon 2 pi rho naught. 2 pi rho naught, sorry, it is a 2 pi rho, it is not a 2 pi rho naught, 2 pi rho, where rho is the radius of your Amperian path. Okay, 2 pi rho can be written as a L. Okay, because the toroid is in the form of a circle. Is it clear? Now, sorry, it is rho radius of toroid. Rho naught is the radius of toroid, but sorry, it is rho is the radius of Amperian path. Amperian path. Okay, now coming back to the solenoid, we have seen just now an infinite solenoid, H vector is equal to Ni upon L ampere per meter. Now long straight conductor with cross section of radius A or B, whatever it may be, or it is a cylinder. Now we have 3 regions. Okay, if you observe it on the conductor, inside the conductor, outside the conductor, we have 3 different magnetic field intensity. Is it clear, all of you? Okay, now coming back to, okay, next topic is magnetic flux density or second Maxwell's equation. We know that magnetic flux density is equal to mu into H vector, Webers per meter square or Tesla. For free space it can be mu naught, where mu naught is equal to 4 pi into 10 to the power of minus 7 henries per meter. Then very important relation between the magnetic flux density and the magnetic flux. The magnetic flux is equal to open surface integral of B bar dot ds bar. The units are Webers. Remember, it is an open surface integral, it is not a closed surface integral. Now since we do not have any isolated magnetic charge, therefore the closed surface integral of V bar dot ds bar is equal to 0. It is second Maxwell's equation in magnetostatics in integral form. If you, by applying divergence theorem, it becomes the divergence of magnetic flux density is equal to 0. It is the point form. Okay, it is the second Maxwell's equation in magnetostatics. These are the 2 Maxwell's equations. We have already seen this. Okay, the first Maxwell equation is due to Ampere's circuit law. The second Maxwell's equation is due to the non-existence of magnetic pole. Now coming back to the next summary topic. Okay, magnetic scalar and vector potentials. We know that the magnetic scalar potential exists in the region of J bar is equal to 0. Then magnetic field intensity and the magnetic scalar potential relation is this. Then the magnetic vector potential is A bar. It is expressed in Webers per meter, which is very important relation for problems. B bar is equal to the cross product of the cross product of del vector and the magnetic vector potential. The units are Webers per meter square or Tesla. We know that. Okay, the magnetic vector potential is equal to line integral of mu naught I dl vector upon 4 pi r Webers per meter. It is very important question for your external point of view. Okay, now we have the relationship between magnetic flux and magnetic vector potential. Is it clear? Now coming back to the forces due to magnetic fields, we have 3 topics. Force on a charged particle. Okay, electric field force, magnetic field force, which is equal to electric field force is equal to Q times the electric field, magnetic field force is equal to Q times the velocity cross the magnetic flux density. Okay, then the total force becomes Q times the electric field intensity plus the velocity cross product with the magnetic flux density. This is the Lorentz force equation, very important for 2 marks question. Now coming back to the force on a current element, then we know that the differential force is equal to I dl vector cross B vector. The units are newtons. Why? Because it is a force between 2 current elements. Okay, we know that finally force between 2 current elements we have seen in the topic. Okay, finally this expression is very important. Mu naught I1 I2 upon 4 pi, 2 line integrals, then dl